welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Attorney Trials and Tribulations, where in the last episode, we had what could possibly be our shortest trial yet, in which we convinced the judge to get Luke Atmey away from his current trial and into our courtroom, so where we can prove that he was in fact the person who murdered Kane Bullard. Forgot his name for a second. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive. Inside your heart. Nicky boy! Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true the detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof, but he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lord Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof, and it's gonna happen sooner rather than later. Yeah, I think conceptually it makes sense for him to be the murderer, and then logistically it makes sense for him to be the murderer, but as for the how he did it and why he did it, that part's still largely a mystery, so that is going to be what we seek to uncover today. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand.
Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly.
I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet, not when it would have given you your perfect alibi, an alibi by the name of Mask to Mask.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I've been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could have known what's been going on in here.
You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask to Mask?
Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Yup, that's the other piece of proof right there. Is that if the game is even drawing attention to the red diamond, which also happens to have been mentioned in the blackmail letter. Interesting. I wonder. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask to Mask? Of course.
Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let us begin with a simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks. Here he goes back at it again with his coffee. Alright, Mr. Atmey, the night of the murder, speak. We're all ears.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor.
The alibi. Here we go. Okay, let's tear this to shreds.
I was stealing the urn as Mask to Mask as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job.
Okay, you're gonna need to tell me more about how pathetically easy it was.
A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mask to Mask was the same time as the murder.
Yeah, but you could have altered it. Like, you definitely could have messed with it. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret in the picture as well.
Even the great Mask to Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now that if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination.
A fool is too foolish.
No, Luke Atmey, listen. People calling other people fools works for one person alone. That is Francisca Von Karma, and she is currently somewhere with Edward. I don't know where they are together. They're somewhere just spending quality sibling time together. They're living their life. So, in her absence, please do not assume her mantle of responsibility, as that it would be disrespectful to the Von Karma family name. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. Oh, really? I didn't catch that one. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi.
I was stealing the urn as Mask to Mask.
Oh wait, I already did this, okay. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point.
That's right, that was over 20 days ago if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lord Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean that you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right?
Indeed, there was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target.
I see. You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lord Taylor while he was the one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. Yeah, no, that's true. It is kind of odd. Okay, now, you very easily could have altered that photograph. How about the camera that took this photograph?
Oh, come on now, it's also clear what you're thinking.
Huh?
You think
Yes, I do. I very much do.
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lord Taylor, and on top of that, It was Lord Taylor Sev that printed the picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see. Looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious. So this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullet at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the master mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself. Okay, well then let's just find more out about it. So by photograph you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct?
Indeed it is. This is it. The very thing that proves that I committed the crime.
Wait a second here. Okay, remember when I pointed out the pink splotch in the photograph in the first trial? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Because shouldn't the statue be there? The statue wasn't moved until the next day, right? So, yeah, wait a second. Hold on, that's a glaring contradiction. The very thing that proves you committed the crime.
Surely even you understand by now. Lord Taylor...
Lord Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed King Bullet unless I had an accomplice.
Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse and the picture supposedly captured has got to be here. Yes, there is. You bet there is.
Are you implying the picture is a fake?
You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match the memory of the night.
Very well, let's hear what you have to say.
What about this photograph do you find funny? I find this giant splotch of pink funny. The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a bloodstain. Ah, blood! Now this case is getting interesting.
Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint.
Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that.
From blood to peaches, it just sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen.
Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this?
It's the statue. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I myself was there the night the theft took place and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there.
But when I was there the day after the theft, that statue of this old bag was sitting in the...
Yup, exactly what I said, which means that it was moved between then and now.
Perhaps it was someone pushed there accidentally?
Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Huh. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why the statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue?
Well, obviously it was Luke Atmey. That's a pretty obvious one right there. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atmey.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions.
Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I have wanted to move?
Yeah, that's the thing that I don't quite get. Why would he want to move it? What feasible reason would he have had to move it? So let's try to think this through. Let me look at that photo again. Okay, so where's not that one. No, did I go past it? I think I went past it. It would be security camera photo. Okay. So he's there, he has the thing, the pink splotch is there. How does it benefit him to move the statue? Like the only thing I can think. Oh, you know what? Okay, so the timestamp does show what time this was taken. But it doesn't show what day it was taken. So, does it stand to reason? Ready? I think I got it this time. Does it stand to reason that he takes the picture like days beforehand, and this is how the crime scene looks. Then he goes back and he's like, there's a statue here. That's not right at all. So then he moves it aside to make it look like it did in the photo. Right? Maybe? That makes sense, right? Probably. Maybe, I don't know. Nope, don't look at it again. That's the only thing I got, so I'll just if asked, which we will be asked, we're gonna run with that. The reason for moving the golden statue is where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in the photograph. Luke Atmey, you pretend to be Master Master, create an alibi by showing you were at Lord Taylor that night. But the photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw?
Interesting theory, please enlighten us. Just where on this picture does the lie exist?
I guess I can just point to the timestamp, right? Because it might have been taken beforehand. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lord Taylor at this time.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was the statue placed besides the warehouse door?
Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Luke Atmey had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so, in order to create an alibi for the time, he took this picture days before the murder took place.
What the?
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse. So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atmey must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atmey had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way it had been in this photo.
Order! Order! Mr. Atmey, is this true?
One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this?
What's this?
The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime.
Yeah, but you could have messed with that. That you could have messed with. That's not a physical print. That you easily could have messed because you were the only one in charge of defending in the thing. It's true that the camera had been set up by Lord Taylor's staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data.
Ah!
Order! Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good to the last drop. However, the defense is a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points.
So will you say this photograph was taken ahead of time? And that the statue was moved in order to make it match? That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams.
That's very true. No way. Don't fall for that, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
I first received a request from Lord Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime.
Okay. Is there evidence? Do we have any evidence that would contradict that? No. Maybe this, actually. Because the poster shows it, right? Although that's not how it was, because she broke the urn. Maybe something... To security at Lord Taylor, I'll be coming to Purloin, the most priceless work of art on display in your Treasure of Corain exhibit. Take care of the speckled urn, won't you? Speckled urn? You mean, like, the urn with all the paint stains on it? Oh, wait a minute! Oh, no, Mask to Mask. Because, you see, my friend, Andrews dropped the urn, and she hid it. Like, she hid it away so that no one will be able to see her mistake. So you're correct. You couldn't have seen it for yourself, but that doesn't actually help you, because your calling card says take a grave of the speckled urn, which means you had to have known that there were paint stains on it. Oh, I got you now, buddy. Nothing else you say here matters. Like, actually, nothing else you say here matters. I got you. That's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we'll find the truth in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time?
Sorry.
Very well then. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Okay. I first need... Oh wait, let's just go here, and then your freaking calling card has given you away. Mr. Atmey, if you really are Mask to Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct?
But of course.
Is there a problem with that calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that... Oh, take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn.
Yes, that is true, but so what?
Truth be told, there is no way that Mask to Mask could have known about this pattern.
What?
What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordy Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Wright.
The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn.
Oh, you can't be serious.
And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atmey had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Got you now, buddy.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh?
Huh, it's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle?
That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor.
You said that Luke Atmey was the one who killed King Bullard, and let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent... Oh, wait! Oh, I think I just figured it out. Okay. So remember how I was saying about how I thought that Luke Atmey might have written this, and that would get Ron DeLite into the room, but now and my thought process with the red diamond was Ron had a red diamond, and then after that happened, Luke Atmey just took the red diamond off of him when he knocked him unconscious. Now I'm realizing that it might be the reverse, that Kane Bullard sent this not to Ron DeLite, but to Luke Atmey, and that explains the red diamond. And actually, wait, wasn't there something in the newspaper clipping? Hold on, where's the newspaper clipping? First Tice garden photo. Yeah, it's blue. It's blue. So even that's an inconsistency. That's an inconsistency as well. Yup, I think I'm right. The blackmail letter was sent to him, not to Ron DeLite.
Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive. Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest? Nick, he's getting a second win.
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron DeLite, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron DeLite. Isn't that right, Detective?
Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear.
Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were.
I'd be honored to, sir, old-timer.
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance.
I look at me. Oh, King Bullet decided to investigate Mask to Mask, and someone mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullet who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to...
Nope. Oh, nope. Wrong. Very much wrong. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Oh, I just shot my controller.
So the victim came below to blackmail the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard wasn't really when I wrote the letter.
Yep, but it doesn't confirm who it was sent to. What? Blackmail letter updated court record.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Beginning cross-examination.
Oh, with pleasure, Your Honor. Okay. Let's just go skip ahead to here, and... Gotcha! Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atmey?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright.
When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction.
Contradiction?
I don't know where a walking contradiction like you is off saying like that.
Oh! You're the one to talk.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fist. Why don't you show us what you got there, Junior?
Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence. It's the newspaper clipping. The newspaper clipping. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Terror of Emanon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color.
Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself.
Why? According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Terror of Emanon that Master Mask stole at all.
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you were trying to say this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite?
That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, is that what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who King Bullet was actually blackmailing. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atmey.
Do you have some sort of basis for that claim?
You have been personally involved in every single mask-to-mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel. As your reward.
Oh, a jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. The red diamond ring. This isn't the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullet wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Order! Order!
It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Wright.
I don't like the way he said that.
Kane Bullet blackmailing Luke Atmey? Are you for real?
Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him!
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does.
Kane Bullet threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge, an identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity?
Atmey killed Kane Bullet because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity we look at me... Identity is a blackmailer. The only thing that makes sense. Luke Atmey was a blackmailer.
Objection! Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullet was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Atmey was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit, it does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes sense. Kane Bullet was actually blackmailing Luke Atmey. But, Ron's life was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident?
Yes, just a few days after the Terror of Emanon heist.
After that, I started getting these plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed.
Detailed plans.
In which case, that would mean that Ron Delight was actually mask to mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atmey.
Shh! Silence! Hehehe, now I see, it's all becoming clear.
What is this?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with a tendency to jump to conclusions, am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron Delight, in which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask the Mask.
Well, yes.
Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, right? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed the first crime.
Good point. You certainly could have blackmailed him otherwise.
In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know?
Because in the alleyway, right? Yeah, actually, wait a second, that makes perfect sense. Let me go to the newspaper clipping. So, in the alleyway, he took off the costume, stuffed it in the trash can, and Luke Atmey was there. That would be how he knew that that was the case. I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief and trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Mask just didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
Well, that sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned.
What, wasn't he supposed to be Master Mask? Not only that, it looks like, I can't believe it, he was just a slimy blackmailer.
What a fraud.
Why how dare you expose me like that? Why I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous person, I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You are a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why you?
Oh, are you gonna have an old bag rant? Yep, you're gonna have a little old bag rant. Here we go. Oh, good God, that's enough. See, this is the kind of breakdown we were missing in the first trial. Oh, good God, what are you doing?
It would seem that we finally arrived at the real answer.
That was quite a performance, Mr. Atmey.
Bailiff, please prepare ourselves for Mr. Atmey.
Is this cup number 17?
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge.
You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws were quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright.
What do you...
It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't a loony tailor the night of the murder.
That's right, that's why he's the one who killed Mr.
But there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No way. Okay.
Order on the court. Well, Mr. Wright?
This is it, the final round. I've got to prove that Mr. Atmey was at Mr. Bullett's office on the night. But can you really prove that?
That's long enough, Mr. Wright. I want to hear your answer.
That night Luke Atmey was at KB security in the fence. Can't prove it. We don't have evidence. If he testified again, like if he testified about being there or something, I don't know. But we don't have any evidence to prove, just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony.
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean.
What?
Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he committed the murder.
Yeah, but we could if he testified.
I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial.
If he just testified, no.
Well now, sir lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Just tell him to testify again.
Order on the court, that's the deliberation over this witness.
I can't believe this, at this rate Ron is— Don't give up now, Nick! We still have tomorrow, we can look for more evidence and— By then, it'll be too late. Huh? Why?
Double jeopardy, one of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy?
Should the defendant be tried and found innocent in court, the defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of King Bullet is concerned.
No way!
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as King Bullet's murderer.
Just tell him to testify again. Give me one more chance. Give me one more chance. That's all I need. Just one more chance. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer Luke Atmey will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness there has made today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey.
Wait, what? Oh, did Maya chant Omiya? I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you?
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how— Yup, it's Mia. That voice, no way. Mia! She's back! Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Korean chain link technique.
Just in case you didn't play the first 2 games.
I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but unfortunately, Your Honor, forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Well, now, sir lawyer, seems that loved one's on the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. This is wrong to lights full... I declare with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Yes, but these columns appear of no importance whatsoever.
Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Oh, did you drink his 17 cups? Oh, nothing.
Oh, sir lawyer, looks like you've one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me.
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks, so then let's see this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Godot, what are you?
Very well, Mr. Luke Atmey. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Okay. We can do this. The last testimony. Show me what you got. Alright.
Indeed, it is true that I was not a Lodi Taylor. I had to leave to see about another very vitally important job request. I had known about the day before, and so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true couple was the Rondelite, and thanks to the key abundantly clear he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Light was wearing his mask.
Ah, gotcha! Oh, no. Mr. Luke Atmey, you have no way of knowing that. You were in the courtroom next door with Mr. Fake Judge over there, while in this courtroom, we were listening to Ron DeLight testify about the fact that he was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. That was something that nobody knew until that testimony, and is therefore something that you could not have known. Unless, of course, you were in the room at the time of the murder. Gotcha, you piece of trash. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well.
The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer.
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on just one sec. Just one chance?
Huh. It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Oh, but I can, though. I very much can, though.
Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
Okay, we can do this. We got a lot of testimony to get through before that point, but... Okay, just fine. We just gotta figure out where it is that he says the thing about him wearing the outfit. Here it is. Mr. Atmey, about this last remark.
You still don't get it, do you, Wright? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness in every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot.
What?
Mr. Atmey, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder.
How can you say that?
Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. DeLight was wearing his Master Mask's outfit. Is that correct?
Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof.
More like your deductions prove that you're a fool.
I'm sorry, whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron DeLight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime?
That was, it was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now.
That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There is no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Mask to Mask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information?
Come on, the detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find it beforehand.
And it's those changes that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Mask to Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atmey to have found that out.
Only one? One way, you say?
Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Then for a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atmey.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
Detective Atmey, you saw Mask to Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Oh. What the...
Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown.
That's the same one you gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. That's the best insane laugh I got for you. It's basically just me, like, like me moving my mouth up and down, like, blah, 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 blah.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atmey tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask to Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan, to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me.
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict?
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Mask to Mask.
Huh?
So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy?
Now that you mention it, I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Mask to Mask is really innocent? It would seem so for now. For now. Double jeopardy?
Mention it.
This isn't so good after all. You see the thing is saying Mask. October 14th, 3:35 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 4. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, because Maya doesn't call me on me much these days. Oh, I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Korean channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, no, wait. Nothing really matters. Come on, just be happy already! Maya, you've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Mask to Mask to boot! But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Mask to Mask. I did it all for one reason, for her.
You mean your wife, Desiree?
She hates criminals more than anything.
Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she?
She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security, I lost all the money I had. She wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure.
So that's why you became Mask to Mask?
Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together again. But that's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I kinda wish you would check with me first. Mister, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to— Oh, you talking about the urn? Because Pearl broke it and then put it back together.
I'm guessing you're talking about, yeah, you're talking about the urn. Okay, let me go back the other way then. Here we go. Here's your proof. The sacred urn. Desiree was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have anything to worry about.
Ah, there you are.
Miss Delight.
You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you?
Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what's going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined you were really mask to mask either.
Miss Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not really going to leave him, are you?
Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, the bike's really fast. So fast there's no way he could ever get away.
But didn't you say you hated criminals?
Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky, like that detective.
I see.
My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous.
Chivalrous?
I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement.
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you?
Nicky boy!
Yes?
I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
Oh, well, take care of yourself.
You too, Nicky boy.
Oh, I can feel my face going with this. Of course you picked this moment. Oh, good God.
Mr. Nick! Mr. Maya! Congratulations!
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Nick! How could you? My little man's wife by Mr. Maya!
No, you got him. I'll never forgive you, never! Ever! And I get slapped. The worst timing. So just as the case came to a close, so due to my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together, but I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Aww. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. Episode 2, the Stolen Tournament at the end. That was good. That was a pleasant surprise. Oh wait, music? Recipe for Turnabout. Okay, I made sure to actually check this time. Most of the time I just completely miss what the name of the next case is going to be. Okay, so Recipe for Turnabout. So prediction, this is going to be a poisoning case. This is going to be a poison case, much like the first case. That's going to be interesting, because that's the thing. So far, this game has been trying so many new things. We had the electrocution and poisoning in the first game. Playing as Mia, that's another new thing. We had the plot twist where it was a theft and then turned to be a murder. Just the fact that they were tackling a theft at all is... That case was just such a pleasant surprise. The first investigation, the first investigation was average, right? They did nothing spectacular about it, nothing terrible about it, just a typical Ace Attorney investigation section. The first trial, however, had me very worried because of how scarily easy it was. It was the Detroit Become Human levels of easy, in the sense that, because the only really negative thing I have to say about Detroit Become Human, aside from the QuickTime events, is that it was way too easy to make the correct decisions at every opportunity. I never ever had to once think about, what would be the correct decision to make here? And it was kind of the same thing with that first trial. It was just like, yeah, that's an obvious contradiction. It wasn't a contradiction where it's like, well, actually, a perfect example would be the last one. It wasn't a thing where it was like, well, he was wearing the costume, therefore he wouldn't have left fingerprints. Then you stop and think, it's like, okay, that's a statement. Wait a second, no, wait, because you said this. It was a thing where you tell me something that's obviously false, like, we live on Venus. No, we don't. The Earth is flat. No, it's not. The sun doesn't exist, but it does. It was those kinds of things. Like that was the level of stupidity that the statements were at with the first trial, because it was just how easy it was. But once the twist was actually revealed, the case turned itself right around and was set on a path to success. Because the simplicity of the first trial was now perfectly explained, and from then on out, we had pretty decent second mystery to solve. I mean, overall, it was nothing spectacular except for the plot twist, which is one of, if not the smartest reveals in the entire trilogy. As always, Maya and Pearl were awesome sidekicks. Gumshoe was awesome as always. There was a more personal element involved with the Sacred Urn, which is a welcome addition. I almost forgot. Godot. Freaking, this guy seems like he's going to be an awesome prosecutor. He was one jump ahead of our every move. His metaphors were on point. His theme song was great. His coffee gimmick was hilarious as always. And I am beyond curious to find out more about who he is underneath that mask. Because our clues so far are he's addicted to coffee, he's never worked a case before, while simultaneously being incredibly competent at his job. He wears a face mask and he has dark brown hair. I don't think we learned any other clues. The only thing that really stuck out to me was that he doesn't discuss color, but that sounds like a really odd statement to me. Like, I don't discuss color. Okay, that seems like a really odd thing to say, but I'm not gonna put it down as a clue because it doesn't seem like that. That's more of an odd thing to say, more than it is more than it does seem like something that would actually lead to an answer to a solution to a mystery as to his personality. But whatever the case may be, that is it for this episode, and that was a stolen Turnabout. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all on tomorrow for some more Phoenix Wright Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Goodbye.